II-1. Then, therefore, having uttered the verse, "Let us for all knowing fire the Somocrest," etc., one achieves the realization of Tripura. II-2. The seers said, explain the form of the extensive seed letters latent in the beginning, middle and end of the glorificatory verse, "Let us for all knowing fire." II-3. The Lord said to them, utter the verse, "Let us for all knowing fire the Somocrest," etc. Repeat backwards the last group of the Adivadhyana Iesakalahm. Lengthen the first syllable of the first group as Ka and that of the second group as Ha. Together we get Ka Ha. Let us press the Soma. They say that this verse refers to the state in which cosmic ignorance vanishes. It is competent to extinguish all that has been imagined as other than Brahman. It is the most excellent and blissful. It is the great glory. II-4. The first group called Vabhaviyate, the same as all prosperity, causes the sublation of the world of objects. The second group named after Kama supports the world of objects. The third named after Sakti brings it into being. Thus meditating on the three groups and purifying the mind, and elucidating the incantation of Tripura, one utters the mantra, "Let us for all knowing fire the Somocrest," etc. Then there dawned the wisdom called the incantation of Mahavadisvari. II-5. Relying on the incantation of Tripurasvari, having uttered the word Jatavades for all knowing fire and associating the dot denoting the divine principle of Siva with the vowels A, etc., of the Pranava, one gets the serpent power that has become one with immortality and has assumed the triangular form at the base of the spinal column. II-6. Thus, of the chief principle of Adivadhyana, the first group beginning with Ka is Vabhaviyate, the second beginning with Ha is Vagamakala. With the utterance of the syllables Jata, the Supreme Self is clearly expressed. II-7. By the syllables Jata, etc., the Supreme Undifferentiated Self, Siva, is denoted. II-8. From birth onwards given to desires, one desires lordship. When desires are renounced, perfection of one's nature results. So the knowers of Brahman declare. II-9. That very thing the perfect spirit of Siva we declare right has installed in the three ladders, the seed ladders of the earth. Clarifying the letters of the mantras in the light of the significance of the three ladders which denote existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, each in the midst of the three groups, the word Gotra must be understood. The principle of Siva is said to have been installed in this Gotra. Thus has it been elucidated. Then follows the Kamakala, the second group beginning with Ha. The rest may be elucidated as before with reference to Vagmam competent. The incantation thus explained is styled Sarvarak Shakari, the all-protecting one. II-10. Thus having clarified this incantation of Tripura by means of the verse Jatavades, etc., there remains but the one supreme divinity, the light. For this results from the incantation consisting of the three groups. Grant the boon of the fourth I. Meditate on the fact that the three groups do not exist independently of Siva. Fully identify the I sense with the nature of the Lord. Relate each of the three groups with the incantation style of the all-protecting one. Also clarify the incantation of the Apnavana form. Repeat the verse Jatavades, etc., and once more recall to mind the all-protecting incantation. Assign the form of Siva and Sakti to the initial and final positions of the all-protecting incantation. Note that the syllable Sa in the verse Jatavades, etc., has Sakti as its quintessence and that the word Soma represents the prowess whose quintessence is Siva. Whoso knows this becomes great. II-11. Thus elucidate this incantation which abides in Tripura and which is set forth in the circular seat. Repeat the verse Jatavades, etc., and also the incantation of Tripurasvari which is ever ascendant and whose quintessence is Siva and Sakti, as already set forth. Jatavadas symbolizes Siva, and Sa has the imperishable Sakti as its essence. Elucidate Tripura, the ever ascendant Mahalakshmi, resting on the seat of mantras symbolized by Ha and Sa denoting the sun and the moon, pervading the three groups and subsisting in between Siva and the primeval power. Repeat the verse Jatavades Shunavama Sodnam, etc., and call to mind the previous incantation associated with the seat of the real self. With the words Veda, etc., in the verse essentially the same as the sun denoted by Ha, is indicated the universal power of the spirit Sakti ever ascendant. Put over it the dot denoting the Siddhya principle. Elucidate the incantation of Tripura, garlanded, abiding in the seat of the adept. Repeat the verse Jatavades Shunavama Sodnam, etc. Relying on the enchanting Tripura, contemplate her in the syllables Kala. Elucidate the embodied incantation of Tripura, the sovereign over all incantations. Repeat Jatavades, etc., and relying on Tripura, the Lakshmi, one consumes fire. II-12. Elucidate the incantation of Tripura, the mother, the sovereign threefold light, knowing that she consumes with a mouth of fire. II-13. Thus with the words Sa Matparsad Adidarganidas V8, she illuminates the Supreme, she who is the inner self. Her incantation, here, having become an effect, is utilized in the act of healing. She is deemed competent in every way. II 14, thus these 8 incantations, the very limbs of the divine Mahamaya are elucidated. II 15, the gods verily said to the blessed Lord, tell us about the foremost of the wheels, which promotes all desires, is adored of all, takes all forms, faces all quarters, and is the gateway to liberation, by adoring which the yogins cut through the knot of differences into the undifferent bliss of Supreme Brahman. II 16, to them the blessed Lord said, we shall elucidate the concept of Sri-Chakra. II 17, make a triangle with 3 vertices. In it take as a measure the line, lengthen it, and make a triangle farther in front of it, parallel to the base of the first triangle, but overall, make another triangle. The first triangle is the wheel, the second is the intermediary region, and the third has, marking it, the 8 triangles. II 18, then, moving the line beyond the intermediary quarters, on the extremities of the 8-spoked wheel move the line for soliciting the sadhyas etc. Have the upper part marked with triangles. Draw for lines going up from the closed regions. Into order, with the 2 measuring lines, the wheel comes to be marked with 10 triangles. II 19, in the same manner, again, the wheel with 10 spokes takes shape. II 20, the wheel with 14 spokes takes shape by joining the measuring line brought up to the parts of the 10 spokes, after having joined the 4 vertices of the central triangles with the triangles at the extremities of the 4 lines. II 21, then takes shape respectively the wheels enveloped in the 8 lotuses, the 16 lotuses, and the earth wheel with 4 gates. II 22, thus has the wheel been elucidated by the process of construction. II 23, I enumerate in the reverse order the elements of the wheel consisting of the 9 cells. The first wheel enchants the 3 worlds, has the 8 powers such as the power to assume the atomic size etc., has the 8 mothers, has the decade beginning with the all-agitating force, etc., is manifest, is occupied by Tripura, and is characterized by the mystic mark of the all-agitating force. II 24, the second wheel fulfills all expectations, is conjoined with the 16 attractive powers beginning with Sakama. It is well protected, occupied by the sovereign Tripura, and is characterized by the mystic mark of the all-scattering force. II 25, the third wheel agitates all and is adorned with the 8 flowers of Cupid. It is better secured, occupied by the beautiful Tripura, and characterized by the mystic mark of the all-fascinating force. II 26, the fourth wheel grants excellence to all, has 14 forces like the all-agitating force, is associated with a tradition, is occupied by the dweller in the 3 cities, and is marked by the mystic mark of the all-subduing force. II 27, the fifth wheel, beyond the fourth, accomplishes all ends, has the 10 forces such as the power to yield all perfections, has the fullness of the Kala, is occupied by Mahalakshmi who is Tripura, and is marked by the mystic mark of the greatly exciting force. II 28, the sixth wheel protects all, has 10 traits such as omniscience, is devoid of interspaces, is occupied by the garlanded Tripura, and has the mark of the great goat. II 29, the seventh wheel cures all diseases, has 8 forces such as the force to subdue, has its mysteries, and bears the mystic mark of the Kikari. II 30, the eighth wheel grants all perfections, is characterized by 4 weapons, and the mysteries, higher and lower. It is occupied by the mother, Tripura, and has the mystic mark of the seed. II 31, the ninth master wheel is replete with all delight and is associated with the triad such as famous very. It is exceedingly mysterious, occupied by the great Tripura, the beautiful, and has the mystic mark of the triangle. II 32, all the meters indeed have passed over as spokes into the wheel. This wheel is the Sri-Chakra. II 33, in its hub, in the sphere of fire, are the sun and the moon. Worship the seat of the syllable Om and there. There is the imperishable in the form of the point. Call to mind the supreme incantation, sky-like, and immanent in it. Bring thither the great Tripura, the beautiful. Petition her with a single verse, Goddess. Then milk-bathed, with sandal paste besmeared. Goddess. With bildia leaves worshipped. Durga. I seek refuge in thee. Adorn her with a mantra of Mahalakshmi. Thus spoke the blessed Lord. II 34, with these mantras adorn the blessed goddess. Then she becomes pleased and manifests herself. So whoever worships with these mantras sees Brahman. He sees all things and achieves immortality, whosoever knows thus. This is the great Upanishad.